not that song.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 872. This is Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway here at the last place on earth, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley. I'm back today with an interview with the Missoula, Montana band Wartime Blues. Plus we hear from Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer. And oh my gosh, my sinuses, they got so infected.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Because I was in Daytona Beach. And if there's a southern drawl you've detected.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Because I've been in the South, sort of. I went to visit my mom in Florida, in the fine city of the beach called Daytona. I realized that something I don't love is normal television, which I had to watch with my mama. And I got to witness on my flight an Australian,
Mike's Daily Podcast,
who flew off the handle because his carry-on was too big
Daily
for the overhead rack.
Podcast.
And so he verbally attacked the flight attendant for handling it. Sorry, dude, if you're that excited about your bag, maybe we should all be a little suspicious of you. Perhaps you could kindly leave the plane and have a nice conversation with the TSA. And then shut up, Mike. Australians in the air is a bad idea anyway. I love Midnight Oil, but I don't want to see them over my head. The lead singer's bald like me. Hey, look who just walked in. Oh my God, it's Chely Shoehart, the shop supervisor. Oh my God, welcome back from Daytona Beach. Yeah, it's great to be back. Mike Matthews, you sound a little bit nasally. I'm not nasally. Oh yeah, I am a little bit. I got like a nasal sinus infection. Look who else just walked in.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that? Guys, I didn't think you were going to be here today. Mike, it's because Valentino still has a crush on Chely Shoehart. Do you know that?
Hey, shut up, Bison. It's not true. Chely, it's okay there.
You know, Chely has moved on. She's now interested in the Brewmaster. That's right, Mike Matthews. He writes poetry. He has flashes of brilliance. And then he passes out from the flashes of brilliance. And he writes me some poetry. Isn't that beautiful?
Okay, well then I can tell when I am not wanted. Let's leave, Bison.
I want to stick a rat. He wants to stick a rat? Yeah, so that's what happened. I was swimming in the ocean, which is so warm in Daytona Beach, and then swimming in my mom's pool. And, she was out of commission for a while. To be blunt, it's quite a miracle that she's even still with us. She's had some hard times health-wise, and she is back from the brink with the help of her wonderful boyfriend, Mike, and it was just so good to finally go and see her, take the time, spend time with her, help, work around the house, get things up to snuff, because she was not at her home for like 6 months. Which also means the pool turned into a duck pond, basically. Eesh. Which she paid someone to bring it back from the brink. And it's now swimmable. But I think with all the chlorine and stuff they had to put in it, it might have had an adverse reaction to my sinuses. Because after a couple of days, all of a sudden, just wacky things are going on. Nose was running and all that. So I'm coming back from that and coming back from a great trip. It's great to be back. Thank you. All right, so this podcast today is going to feature a great band from Missoula, Montana, which I've never been to. And we talked to Nate. His name is spelled Hegyi, and we find out the proper way to say his name coming up in the interview. And yeah, Australians yelling on planes makes no sense to me. This guy was he was a young guy, kind of, muscles. And the waitress, I'm already past. It was weird. It was confusing. You're just trying to get on the plane. It was during boarding. And my seat, because I'm cheap, was way in the back of the plane, where all the party people are. And evidently where all the parents with their little one-year-olds are, who kept getting up and walking around the plane during the flight. Even when there's massive turbulence, they're still walking around with their little babies. and the seatbelt signs are on. They're like, oh, I think I'll get up and walk around with my baby. Yeah, you're going to fly around sit down. The turbulence. At any rate, we're trying to get on this plane, and the flight attendant in front of me is like, whose bag is this? Because somebody had just shoved a bag into an overhead bin and not even really pushed it in. It was just totally dangling out, this big thing. And she was trying to push it in, but it had these massive wheels. It wasn't going into the overhead bin. And you can't see me right now, but I'm doing the pushing thing like when you're trying to push a big bag. And of course, everybody's trying to put all their clothes into their check-in bags or their non-check-in their carry-on bags, so that they don't have to pay for the check-in prices. And then there's this glass bottle, one of those really foo-foo glass bottles, the kind that people use that have money and they pay way too much for bottled water, so it has to be in a glass. And this glass water is leaking. It's leaking on the poor person sitting underneath it. The guy that owns the bag and the water is not even in that vicinity. He's way up, like in first class for some reason. And he's coming back and he's like, "Oi, don't be touching my bag, mate." That's about as Australian as I'll get. Okay, so he's all upset and throwing a fuss. And the lady, the flight attendant's like, "I can't get this bag in." He's like, "Well, don't touch it, don't get over there." Meanwhile, there's 10 people between him and the bag. Anyway, that's about it. Midnight Oil is a great band. Check them out. Hey, look who else just walked in.
Hello, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman.
And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, how can we dance when the world is turning?
Ah, Midnight Oil song.
How can we sleep when our beds are burning?
That's a brilliant question. So, yeah, it's great to be back with you guys.
Mike, we had a great time without you.
Uh-huh. What did you do?
We danced around to this piano music.
Yes, Mike, we had a bit of a jig.
Oh, good. All right. Were there any Australians involved?
Yeah, Mike. Place was full of Australians.
Darn, I'm sad I missed it.
Mike Matthews, they came into the gift shop where I have the chicken pot pie, the chicken pot pie bar.
Oh, did they like that?
No.
Oh. Well, you know what? You can tell us what you like or dislike about Australians and about television today. Oh, I cannot sit through all the commercials. And the fact that there is no... I tweeted this. I don't know if you follow me at Mike Talks, but I tweeted on the first night I was there with my mom watching television in Daytona Beach. I could not believe how there is no content. This show has content. I'm about to get into an interview that's got content and music. We got some cool music from Wartime Blues on the way too. But ABC, watching them and their Shark Tank show, it's all build up. It's all tease. That's all television is. It was tease for like 2 hours I was watching and no actual content. How can you watch TV anymore? It's all to get you to sit through the damn commercials.
Mike, television's run by a bunch of Australians.
Rupert Murdoch, you're right. That's what's causing it. No, I don't know. But I watch stuff on Hulu. That's about it. Hulu has commercials. I can take their length of commercials, which I think is about 2 minutes worth, and then get caught up on whatever is the big show at the moment, which I have to say...
Mike's absolutely useless review.
I'm pretty much done with this season of Arrow and all the Parvat, whatever that island is with the League of Assassins. They keep going back. They leave the island. They go back. They leave. They're about somebody gets stabbed. So many people have gotten stabbed through the heart with samurai swords in this season. I'm done with it. I'm pretty much up to... I think I have one more episode to watch. And I'm just going to go directly to CW and their channel, CW TV, to watch it because... the screen quality is actually better. I have the laptop hooked up to the flat screen, and it just seems like there's better resolution on CW. So there you go.
Mike, Hulu doesn't care about people like you that don't have the Hulu Plus. They don't care about you freeloaders.
Oh, but even when you have Hulu Plus, you gotta sit through all the commercials that they have on Hulu Plus.
It's because of the Australians!
Well, is Floyd right about that? You can email me, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. We read your comments on the section emails from email and your calm and not so comments. You can also comment there at Twitter. My handle is @MikeTalks. Also on Facebook. The Facebook page is MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email me if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you'd like to sponsor the show, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. And there's the website, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com, with links to where to listen to the show in iTunes. We are also on YouTube, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, Podomatic. You can listen to us at all those places, as well as Mixcloud, Spreaker, Player FM, and Ameristream Live. If you listen to us on iTunes, please rate the show and comment on the show. If you do that, more people find out about us and we don't languish in obscurity. And you can hear me at my morning show on Connecticut's Wolverine Radio, weekday mornings from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., and that's Eastern Time. The link to that, as well as the link to the country station that I am on the internet on weekends, Country Crossroads Radio. There at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. You can catch the links to that, as well as where to find us on Instagram, Yelp, and Tumblr. If you want to help us out and support the show, go to our Amazon link that we have at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Click on that and buy whatever it is you're going to buy on Amazon. And we get a little bit of support for that. And it doesn't change the way you shop. You can get the blog, the Daily Podcast picture, and all my past interviews, too, at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com.
Into an interview.
How's that work for you?
Oh, that's much better. I hate Google.
Cool.
They just switched everything around with their Google chat.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Why did they do that? They just... Was there like... I guess maybe I was the only one using it. And then they said,
I've used it once prior, but I'm just confused as to why the Skype thing didn't work. It just wouldn't let me sign in anymore. I think I might have forgotten my password too. I don't know. And then I tried signing in through Facebook and it didn't work that way. So I don't know. I don't get that stuff.
Why do these huge companies that want us to use them, albeit for free, they switch things up? My gosh.
Yeah, I know.
So annoying. But anyway, we're talking to you now. It's Nate Heggie.
Yeah.
Of the band Wartime... Heggie, sorry. I knew I was saying it wrong as I was saying it, and then kind of was...
Yeah, well, it's funny, because I've been going... It's been such a... I've got such a Hungarian last name that I've just been going by my first and middle name, because it's a lot easier for everybody. Nate Vernon. I found with talking to promoters and everybody else, no one can ever pronounce or spell my last name. So I've just been going by Nate Vernon for the past couple months, and it seems to be working out all right.
Oh, but I like Heggie.
You're like, yeah. Well, once you pronounce it, it's pretty good.
It's a neat name.
Yeah.
Well, Nate, your band is amazing. Wartime Blues.
Thank you.
You have a new album coming out called April, Texas.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it's coming out June 2nd.
Yep.
And how many years since the last album?
2011 was when Passenger, which was our second album, came out. And so it's been 3 years, I think, 3 or 4 years since the last record came out.
And how did
it's been a while.
So it feels good to have a new one out.
Yeah, it feels great. It feels really good. Yeah, it was a good year in the making, and so it feels good to finally have it out there.
Where did you record it?
We recorded it along the shores of Flathead Lake in western Montana at this lake house, and we recorded it with a friend in town named Travis Yost, who's also kind of a budding recording engineer. And we spent a week up there, and then we recorded a little bit in the theater in downtown Missoula. But yeah, it took about 7 days to record, and then it took a long time to mix and get everything right.
So, like, is it sounds like you guys are just doing it live, kind of. It has that energy. That's awesome. I'm happy it does. And I would say most of it is live. I mean, there's some overdubs and everything else like that, but yeah, we definitely wanted to do this one more live than our previous effort. And well, I always forget to ask bands this question, but I need to, and I always kick myself. But how did you come up with the name Wartime Blues?
I was 19 at the time, because we've been kind of, I guess, as a band for 7 years now. I mean, it's formed as a band, and so I came up with it from a line from a Allen Ginsberg poem called "Howl." And it said, I can't even remember what the line was, but it was under the Wartime Blue floodlight. And then at the time we were a more bluegrass band, and so I wanted to call us the Great American Wartime Bluegrass Band. But thankfully, the other two founding members were like, yeah, that's really pretentious sounding. So we've just shortened it to Wartime Blues, and have stuck with it ever since.
And how did you guys all get together?
We just met in college at the University of Montana here, going to school, and we were just best buds. And nobody really knew how to play any instruments, but we really liked listening to music. And so then one summer, I picked up this guitar that I'd had, lying around the house when I was a kid, when I was back home in Wisconsin. And then my two other bandmates, Sam Lukens and Ben Prez, each ended up picking up a mandolin and banjo, and we just started playing and just adding people as we would do like little open mics, and then we'd get our cellist sauce, Bethany Joyce, and she jumped on, and we got an electric guitar player. And the next thing we knew, we had 8 members, so we definitely ballooned into a much bigger band.
8 members! Wow, that's
yeah.
That must be kind of a pain touring.
It can be, yeah. We're figuring that out. We're slimming down for touring down to around 6 to 7, just with everyone's schedules too. It's nice to have 8 people recording and 8 people playing shows here in Missoula because it's easy. But once we hit the road, we slim down pretty drastically. Or not drastically, actually. 6 to 7 when we do a full band, and then I'll go out and I'll do some solo and duo tours this summer as well. So then we'll really, really slim down.
Well, it sounds great. I mean, I guess every member contributes to the great sound of Wartime Blues. And
yeah, they definitely do.
Well, what got you, Nate, into music?
I always liked to write stories when I was a kid, and I had a really active imagination, and I just walked around just playing games by myself because I was a really shy kid. And so, but I could never figure out the right medium that brought me as much, I guess, joy. And then I picked up a guitar and I started writing songs, and I was like, oh, this feels good. This kind of hits the right spot in my head. And so, yeah, then I just kept writing songs, and I haven't really, I did look back. But it's been like that since I started writing songs when I was 19, I think.
See? You know, and that's relatively late, because some people start.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like Taylor
Some people
Swift.
start when they're 14, or 12 or 10. I know. They definitely have the jump on me. I started much later in life. Same with playing the guitar. I started playing the guitar seriously when I was 19 as well.
Well, I want to play this great song, Youth, or as the late Fred Gwynn of My Cousin Vinny would say, Ute. No, wait, that was the I can't think of the little Italian guy in the movie.
Joe Pesci?
Thank you.
Yeah, Joe Pesci.
Marissa Tomei, Ralph Macchio, Joe Pesci. Anyway, he says Ute. But this is such an anthemic. Am I saying that word? Anthemic? Anemic?
Anthemic, yeah. I don't know. I'm the wrong person to ask when it comes to pronouncing words. Anthemic, and I don't think it's anthemic. Anthematic? I don't know. I have no idea.
And it's not anemic in any way. This song's got a lot of health in it. There's a lot of vitality. And the second half is just so lovely. It all of a sudden kicks in. It's awesome. How'd you come about writing this one?
I wrote it a long time ago for myself, so that would have been in 2008 or 9, probably 2008 or 9. Man, I have no idea. I'm happy I did, though. I still like playing it live, which sometimes, when you've been writing songs for right around 10 years. Some songs, of course, you really don't like playing live after a while because you're just like, I don't know what this song means, or it doesn't have any carrying power for us anymore. But Youth is always one that's nice. It always gets us going. But yeah, I don't actually know what I was thinking when I wrote it.
I actually saw this on your MySpace account. You still have a MySpace account.
Wow. Well, it was just a graveyard of things we've set up over the years on the internet.
I couldn't get it to play, though. I saw it on MySpace. I went, he's got Youth from way back. All right, and it wouldn't play, the damn thing. So but now I like this version, because I haven't heard the other version, but I like this one. So, April, Texas is the name of the album, and why that name?
That name was both the name of the song that ended up not making it on the record, but a bonus thing for our Kickstarter people that backed the record. And then I was living in Texas, in Austin for 9 months. I'd moved down from Montana with half the band, and I got there and just something didn't feel right. And I think it was around 4 months later in April that I just decided that I needed to move back to Montana, which was a big decision because it meant essentially the end of playing music with Wartime Blues for a long time. And at the time we thought we were just breaking up for good. And I was also burnt out on writing songs and making music. And so it was kind of for me, it was April in Texas was a really kind of turning point. And of having about 2 just lost years where you're just wandering around, trying to figure out what you want to do with yourself. I moved back to Missoula. I moved into what I called these insanity apartments, which were really cheap kind of row apartments. And I didn't really wasn't really hanging out with anybody. I was just by myself. And there was guys would just be screaming at night, and the whole place smelled terrible because some guy was living there that hadn't, had a really, really bad hygiene problem. And there was mold in the carpets. It was just a really gross time. And so that was kind of the beginning of these just 2 lost years where I just didn't know what I was doing.
Nate! That's awful. What a horrible,
I know.
What a horrible thing.
But then coming back, playing music and getting back to playing music was kind of a bit redeeming for myself. A realization that, I really am happy when I make music and write songs.
State, are you still in those apartments?
No. That was only 6 months. I only stayed there for 6 months until my lease was up, and then I moved to a much, much nicer spot with some friends along the river. So I'm in a much, much, much greater place right now.
But that experience, is that in a song?
No, not yet. That might be in the next record. I haven't actually written about that. All those songs that I wrote were about Texas. It normally takes me 3 to 4 years to kind of process something before I can start writing about it. So I haven't really even processed how to tell that story yet.
I can't wait to hear about the moldy apartment, screaming men, divorcees, or whatever song.
Yeah, Vietnam veterans and such. Yeah, there was a lot of characters in that place.
Well, Nate, let's play Youth right now from your album April, Texas. It's Wartime Blues. Where can they find out more about you on the internet?
You can just go to wartimeblues.com.
Splendid. Go there now. Wartime Blues. I'm saying not to you, Nate. I'm saying to the
I know.
To the person.
I figured that.
I was commanding the person listening. But then the person listening is like, I'm not going to do what you tell me to, Mike. I'm going to do it on my own because I like this song. And for some reason, they have a southern accent. I don't know. Maybe they are. I could have.
Maybe you've got a big southern listenership.
I welcome you, people listening. In this, I actually was in the land of Waffle Houses and Cracker Barrels last week and got a cold. But I enjoyed the nice, warm weather. All right, now have I dug myself out of that hole? It is Nate Hedgie from Wartime Blues, and this is Youth on Mike's Daily Podcast. Wartime Blues. Next show we'll have part 2 of my Into an interview with Nate Hedgie as we go outside of Cafe Anyway here at the last place on earth, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And you can see the entire band there in the picture at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com.
Mike Matthews, they look like they're all like really happy to be in a band.
Uh-huh, they do, don't they?
And they'd also be really happy if the brewmaster wrote them some poetry when he had a flash of brilliance and caused them to pass out.
You know, he's really got to see a doctor about those flashes of brilliance making him pass out.
I know, Mike Matthews. I'm so worried.
But you're also in love.
Yes, much to the chagrin of Valentino, the parking attendant.
Whatever. Blame the Australians. Next show, it's the finale of my Into an interview with the 8-piece band called Wartime Blues. Plus, we hear from Bonita, the disgruntled fiddle player, and the brewmaster.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!